the madhouse.
Cheers to episode 46.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Liquid Aloha.
That's not what it's called. No. Big Wave Golden Ale. It's the same thing.
Apple pie moonshine left over from this weekend.
Jesus.
Whoa.
Drinking heavy on a Monday, Evan.
That might be the...
Yeah, gonna need it after this weekend.
Oh, Evan. That might be the best drink drop we've ever had. Rating, 1 to 10.
Is that the same one we had this weekend?
Yeah, it's like a solid 4. It's
really
nothing to
not.
write home about.
It's really
No,
not.
I hope that's not homemade.
It's not.
It's not.
Okay. Alex,
I
rating
think anybody that makes a homemade is way better than this.
rating on the Kona.
8.6. Really enjoy it. It's very good. Evan, I think you would like it quite a bit.
Sure, I would.
Evan is a big wave surfer. Makes sense.
Well, we're
Damn.
starting with the Lighthouse.
Well, we're
The
starting
tie-ins.
with... Oh my God. I wouldn't blame anyone that stopped listening after that. Tonight is Monday, November 15th, 2021. A little Monday recording because the boys collectively, I would say, weren't feeling it yesterday. Hand up on us, but who cares? And the time is 6:39 p.m. 6:40 just turned 6:40 breaking. That's how time works. And Alex and Evan are in Mel Tucker's doghouse.
Whoa.
Statements.
Oh!
I'm not a student. I'm not in the student section, and that does not apply to me. I am not in Mel Tucker's doghouse.
That's a cop-out, and you know it. You're in that doghouse. He may have said students, but he meant everyone.
Are we counting on this right now, or are we going to wait until later?
Well, I'm the student.
I was going to let you guys go now
Fans?
if you just have a statement to defend yourself, because
I do have a statement to defend myself.
getting called out by your head coach cannot feel good.
I do have an alibi.
I felt it, and I feel it's deserved. However, do note it. I did start tailgating at 9 when lots started opening,
Correct.
and I did travel to Northwestern. I did travel to Purdue. I did travel to Miami, and I have season tickets currently. I don't know how much more invested you want me to be, and I did travel into the Maryland game.
Evan, he just wanted you to stay for the second half. Only you.
You.
No.
I think I was capable of staying to the second half, but the 2 other people I was with, I don't know if they would have been able to stick it out. One of them was falling down the bleachers.
Not deep water people.
One of them was
Not
just
from
standing
drinking,
there
just in
and
general.
just fell over. So I watched Ryguy dip his hot dog into Drew's cheese and eat it. Nacho cheese, just dip it in there while Drew was eating his nachos. Yeah, Ryguy was a hot mess, but it was enjoyable. So
We're talking a hot dog just
Dunked in some cheddar.
dunked in cheddar with no permission.
Drew left. It came back, and his hands are full. He's got a hot dog. He's got nachos and chips. But he's carrying everything so awkwardly when I think it would be pretty easy to carry.
I can elbows
It's a hot
flared
dog
out.
to Ryan. I take the first bite of it, and then Ryan just is like, "There's no condiments on this," and Ryan just looks at Drew's cheese and just full on just dips it in.
Pretty gross.
I think Miami crew is allowed to do that to one another. You go through that
I think
experience
they are.
of that weekend,
It's
and
just-
your cheese is my cheese.
I think the level of intoxication was higher this weekend than in Miami.
I was saying this to Cheese and to Jason earlier. Tailgating just turned quickly. I don't know how.
I mean, by
or
10:30,
it
I
was just
felt like the group collectively was a nightmare.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was something.
Hopefully not intoxication levels of cheese in Miami, because then that's a real problem.
No one hit that point.
Oh,
Okay, good.
No, not that I saw or noticed.
someone did throw up in the porta potty bathroom. Not to name names.
Ooh, that's a gross puke.
Yeah,
That's a low. That's a life low where you
they're
just,
5'1" height
And not a guy. So
and not a male.
Okay, we
yeah,
can
well,
cut
she
it.
will not be listening to this, so I don't feel bad about it.
And last name is associated with the car company.
Correct. Bingo.
Oh.
how was everyone's week, I guess, outside of the tailgating shenanigans? Is there anything new in your life? Anything noteworthy?
Let's see. Friday, basketball game. It was a nice little warm-up for the weekend.
Yep.
Got to go to one of the best restaurants in the state of Michigan, so I was super happy with that. Got to go to Meat. Hashtag not an ad, but hopefully they do sponsor us.
Evan.
Yeah, then went to the basketball game. That was it.
Alex just said meat's overrated. Thoughts?
No, I get so much hate for this because Alex is just like, "Oh, you're a barbecue fan. Why do we have to go to Meat?"
I've never complained about
place,
going to Meat. It's good. I just think it's not the greatest restaurant in Michigan.
He said one of.
I said one of the best restaurants in the state of Michigan, and I will die on that hill.
I think the service could be better.
I mean, if you really narrow it down, it's Meat, Big Boy, Bob Evans,
Cracker Barrel,
Leo's Coney, in East Lansing.
And don't forget Taco Bell.
I think that Little Caesars in Waterford. I mean, it's really,
these are jokes in case anyone thinks we're
it's a
serious.
select few. I need to go to Meat.
I've never been.
No, I think that
It's
would
good.
be
It is good.
a good middle ground for the podcast official stance. And if it's good barbecue, I'd probably put it up there in the top 10 state of Michigan.
It is good. I haven't.
Brant is a sauce guy, and they have a lot of sauces.
I do enjoy their sauces. I do
A
enjoy
sauce
their
and a
sauces.
thigh guy, both chickens and legs.
You know, and
Thighs,
cornbread's
thighs.
pretty good too.
I get cornbread out of my face. I don't need cornbread.
Well, I enjoy cornbread quite a bit.
Just not. It doesn't. There's no substance there with cornbread. It's just kind of fluffy and just melts in your mouth. I don't need that.
Sounds great to me.
What's wrong with that?
And with corn, I don't know.
Well, you don't like corn, 'cause
Right.
It goes in you and out you in the same form.
No, I don't mind that. It's just corn doesn't get it done for me. Evan got meat. That sounds very nice. Alex?
I don't think I did anything exciting outside of my normal life.
Okay.
Yeah, I never do. The people know this by now.
Don't worry, mine wasn't that exciting. I had to work.
My weekend was filled with
Some late night shifts this
stuff.
weekend, which were brutal. Was drinking those 8 p.m. cups of coffee, which I don't know. It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't, because you're falling asleep on the job, but also you're going to stay up way too late. I only had a couple of things that could be interesting for the listeners. Got into a semi-debate about Starburst and rankings of them. Can I just get your
Instagram story?
Can I get your guys' unbiased opinions on the pink flavor of Starburst? There's 4 main flavors, right? Your yellows, your orange, your red, your pink. Where's pink fall out of that bunch?
2 for me.
What's above red? Red's last.
Wow.
Pink is 2 for me. Orange,
No, to be
pink,
honest,
yellow, red.
You're going to get a lot of crap for saying orange top. I learned that this weekend. People don't like orange.
I love orange. I don't even care. Orange is my favorite Starburst flavor.
I'm a chocolate candy kind of guy, so like
Right.
This doesn't really apply to Evan.
I think pink's probably top 2.
Pink and orange are the best, in my opinion.
Damn. Feels bad.
What was yours?
I have pink far and away last. Like, way last.
Last?
Like, I don't
think
need
red's last.
I think orange is the best. I think red is right behind it, which is, I'm surprised why you didn't say red, because I feel like the red and orange taste very similar.
Actually, I'd put yellow last.
I put yellow third.
Red third.
Because yellow is most different than the other 3. So I think yellow is like a good mix-up. And then pink, like, you could just give me a bag of just no pinks. I know they make all pinks, which made me think, man, maybe most people do like pink
I
a
like
lot.
pink quite a bit.
I don't even know if it's like a strawberry flavor, I think. I just don't need that at all.
Yeah, you're ranking.
And I was wrong. And the poll conducted proved that I was in the minority. But there were some ride or dies out there that had pink being the worst. So shout out to those people.
Who ran this poll?
Marissa ran it. Is pink best or worst poll?
On Instagram?
Yep. Best or worst? Best one in a
It's not
landslide.
the worst. It's definitely. Well,
It's probably somewhere in the middle.
It's second.
But there was an alarming amount of people that voted best, which was, again, alarming. Also, thought that I had it, you guys can probably attest to, since I saw there was a lot of snow that hit East Lansing this week. Not a lot, but there was snow that hit East Lansing this weekend, and there was none in Birmingham, which is weird because it's only about an hour and 15 apart. Did we blow right through fall, or did I just kind of space out? Because it feels like it was like really hot there in September, and then now it's in the 30s.
There was 2 or 3 weeks of fall, I think. There wasn't very much like leaf action. I felt like there
Well,
wasn't
you
enough.
guys gotta get out of the city. Go see the countryside every now and then.
Yeah. That could be part of it.
Evan, when are you seeing the countryside? You're in a city too.
When I make my trips back and forth from East Lansing to home.
Right. That makes sense.
And Michigan State is home for over like 60,000 trees. Come on, Alex. I walk campus all the time.
There's a lot of foliage on campus. I think it would serve as a reminder of anything. What, Alex? Too nerdy for you? I was playing into that. It serves as a reminder, I think, to enjoy fall more. And also, like when people hype up fall as like the best season, oh my God, I love it. You really get it for 2 to 3 weeks and it's gone. So maybe we need to pump the brakes on fall being the best because you almost don't even get it.
I'm a summer guy. Always will be.
I think it reminds me that can we get behind this next season when Michigan and Michigan State are playing in the like weeks 1 through 4 and it's not like the big non-conference games that I don't need to watch those games live. Maybe I should just go outside and do activities in the beautiful fall weather.
Like going to the game in person.
Okay, yeah, I guess.
Perfect.
I guess that could be the workaround because I just feel like we jump so fast into awful weather.
Well, we chose this state to live in. Well,
Kind
we didn't
of.
choose the first 18 years.
Kind of.
But once we turned 18, we chose. We're choosing to live here.
But also moving sucks so bad that like once you grow up somewhere, you don't really want to move. Moving sucks.
Moving sucks.
So it kind of, you can move, but moving sucks. So
yeah, but no, moving does really suck.
And last if I'm a little on edge, talking a little fast tonight, faster than normal, it's because I have a huge fantasy matchup that's being decided tonight, and I'm on edge. Not that people care about fantasy leagues that aren't their own, but
no, people care about it.
Holding a 30-point lead, full PPR league. I have no one left, and my opponent has Darrell Henderson and Brandon Ayuk. So feels bad, feels nerve-wracking. I'm hoping that it ends like if you gave 17 to Darrell Henderson and 12 to Ayuk and I win by 1, I could live with that. That feels right.
Henderson's getting 20, Ayuk's getting 11. You can book it.
That feels terrible.
I also have a close matchup. I'm up 48 with
Evans quarterback
facing Matthew Stafford, Van Jefferson, and the Rams defense.
Damn, when you
So
say
they're automatically down to 38 as soon as the game starts.
Right. And based on season averages
oh boy.
of those players, I will win by 1 point if they all hit their average.
That's what I'm projecting. Okay, let's do it.
So it's pretty nerve-wracking as well.
Shout out for Travis Kelce for doing nothing in the second half of last night's game for me to even be in this situation. That was huge.
And I'm only in this situation because of Darrell Williams going bananas. So, thanks.
Dude, that touchdown grab he had, you guys see that?
I did. And I turned the
I
TV
did
off
not.
in anger.
Evan, he basically, I wouldn't say mossed, but he made a Moss-level play for a running back in the end zone on a terrible ball from Mahomes. He just threw it up there for grabs.
But they're back.
And Darrell Williams went and got it.
Chiefs are back.
I wouldn't say that.
They'll be back when they beat Dallas next week.
The only one that can talk any NFL crap on this show is Evan because his team is unbelievable.
My team's first in the AFC West.
Evan's team has won.
He's first in the AFC.
Evan's team has won 5 straight games against teams from the playoffs last year, and they haven't had Derrick Henry for what, 2 of them?
Yeah, 2.
Yeah.
They lost to the Jets.
But they're the best team. in the
It
league.
counts for something.
I don't think so.
With that, maybe we should transition to the Lions.
With that, to a team that is bottom of the NFL. And
Yeah, tank for Thibodeau.
Tank for Tibby.
Lions at Steelers. The final was 16-16. I watched every snap of this game, worked this game. I will never get those hours back. I will never get that time back. I think this game, correct me if I'm wrong, I would say this game set passing game football, like the art of passing, back 20 years.
More than 20 years.
You think so? You think this was like a 19...
I would say 50. This is a 1970s football game.
Yeah, no, actually not. I always get confused because 2020, we're already there.
Well,
Yeah, 1970s feels right.
25.
Some Johnny Unitas shit.
Bart Starr action.
Bart Starr. Like those Ice Bowl videos of Lombardi saying run it again and again and again, the jet sweep. That was Dan Campbell on 3rd and long running the ball to Swift.
This was just Army Navy in 1965. Run, 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 run. Swift, run. A gajillion. You know?
Igbubuke.
Did you know Swift He's the now second in the NFL for most carries in a game this year, behind Derrick Henry.
You know, in today's NFL, when you crack 30, that feels right.
That is a lot.
And when Dan Campbell takes over play calling.
Yep. He just looked at the sheet and said, yep, run.
It's a lot of runs on here.
Let's run again. 3rd and 12, run.
Am I crazy for thinking this game was so bad that it almost became good and like a comedic? Like if you were just watching a comedy movie or a comedy stand-up hour of Dave Chappelle, this probably rivaled it in terms of laughs of all the stupid things that happened in this game and how it was almost like, I think Nick Baumgartner had the funniest tweet I saw of the day, the Lions beat reporter, of it was that, you know that gif of the Italian guy laughing in the restaurant in the white suit coat from the movie Goodfellas? He's just like laughing out loud. He tweeted that when they said on the broadcast in quotes, like, and next touchdown wins, like an OT, because it was just like, none of these teams are scoring touchdowns in overtime. We've watched it the whole entire game, like they can't move the football. So in that sense, I think it was kind of like terrible, but so bad that it was almost good.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other storylines, kind of positives? I broke mine into positives, negatives from this game. Would anyone like to start with any observations they had from this game?
Sure, I'll give a negative.
Okay.
Jared Goff, bad. So terribly bad.
Yeah.
Like burn his jersey bad.
Whoa.
Yep, there we go. That's what I was looking for. Yeah. What a waste of $130.
Yeah, that jersey's now worth $3.50.
That feels
$3.50 on eBay.
That feels so bad to say out loud.
Evan's going to put his Amon jersey on.
That feels so bad to say out loud.
Yeah, no, I'm disappointed about it. But I'll get a Thibodeau jersey.
Yeah, look at that, baby.
Yeah, Evan. I'm going to change I'm going to rip off one of the numbers and
Not a fraud.
Put it
Actual
on.
real.
Put it on.
What number is Jared Goff? 16?
16. I'll just take the 6 off, put on a 4, and write in Sharpie, St. Brown.
Or maybe you'll get lucky and we'll get a cool draft pick that wears 1 or 6.
Yep. You know, when I had a Ben Wallace jersey and he left, I wrote in a 3 on the jersey and made it 36 for Rasheed Wallace.
Ooh. Interesting.
Or a 6.
Yeah, Evan, that looks sharp.
Looks good. When are we buying our Cade Cunningham jerseys and our Correa jerseys?
Should we pump the brakes on Detroit athletes after this whole Jared Goff experience? Should we just like give them a year and then decide to do things? I mean, Evan just bought this without waiting a year, so.
I mean, hand up. I was never in on Jared Goff, so I am not to blame here.
No, you're not to blame. Just Grant's wondering if we shouldn't buy jerseys until we know they're officially good.
Or we simply just have a better eye for talent. Maybe that's the spin zone you do.
Well, maybe I just got caught in the sauce
Of Kristen
and
Harper.
You guys said I had to do it because I said I would, and then I just did it. And now,
Well, when you're all in, like you're trying to convince like a lot of people that Jared Goff was good, and I knew he wasn't.
yeah.
Like, I think it's your own fault.
There's 2 things that really will always haunt me at Jared Goff. And always
Cool guy, nice guy.
Well, yes, he's cool. And 2, the Chiefs-Rams Monday night game and
Vikings.
the Vikings game. Like, that. Where did that guy go? That guy doesn't exist. That guy's dead. Something happened to him in the move.
He doesn't fit our offense.
He doesn't fit an NFL.
It's not even that. It's like, dude,
Yes, he does. He does fit NFL offenses. Is when they let him sit in shotgun and chuck the ball 45 times.
Evan, where would he start?
But he simply doesn't connect on passes that he needs to make. It's so bad.
Would he start on any team?
Start anywhere? Alex, I'm not saying he's going to start anywhere. I'm just saying fitting an offensive scheme for his ability.
Lack of ability.
Is it worth it to fit your whole offensive scheme around him? Is he even good enough at that?
Well, we're not fitting our scheme around him.
Well, no.
Question.
That ship sailed.
I was thinking about this. You know our top 25 rankings? Would he even crack the top 25 if we redid them?
He would have to.
Would he?
I don't think so.
The reason we lost this game is because we don't have enough talent on that field.
Him.
We do
A
need
more talented team finishes that game, and we upset the Steelers.
And better coach.
And there's no question about it.
We do need to remember their receiving core is pretty bad too. Like, very bad. These guys would not start on most teams.
There's 2 plays that stick out in my mind of Jared Goff when I was metaphorically throwing in the towel is that the Khalif Raymond deep bomb where he's just
that was bad.
wide open and it's underthrown by a mile. And then there was one where the Steelers sent pressure off the left end, and Swift ran a beautiful little swing route right into the teeth of it, and he lofted it up and didn't lead him downfield, and it would have been a touchdown. There was no one out there, and he threw it behind him. And I think he may have still caught it, and he got tackled for like a loss. Like, he just misses wide open throws.
He also, early in the game, left Swift out to just get absolutely murdered. Just looked at Swift, saw a linebacker coming, threw it to Swift, and he just got obliterated behind the line. I just don't know if Jared is I don't know if a team's going to sign him when we're done with him. Is he even going to be a backup?
Yeah.
Or is he going to be out of the league?
He will be a backup because teams will – you pay less for a decent backup for those teams that are, like, just on the cusp of, like, making the playoffs or, like, couldn't be in the playoffs. Like, if something happens for their starter, you want somebody that's able to do something.
I mean, this dude,
he's capable of it in the right situation.
Dude, he's awful.
It's like, and also, so I guess if there's any Goff stands still out there, they're screaming into their headphones right now, like, "Oh, he's injured," and all it was raining. I have two things to say about that. One, yes, maybe the ribs made him look even worse in this game, but like when you've been so bad up until this point, we can't give you that benefit of the doubt because you could just make the argument he's been this bad when fully healthy this year. So I'm not going to say like, "Oh, the ribs made him look this bad." I have no idea. He stinks either way. And two, with the rain argument, everyone's acting like it was some hard to play in game. It doesn't help when Mason Rudolph's over there, so then you think, oh, both teams can't throw? No, it's because Mason Rudolph sucks and Jared Goff sucks. I watched the 49ers-Colts Sunday night football game when it downpoured for hours, the whole game, and those Carson Wentz, who fumbles the ball all the time, and Jimmy Garoppolo put up like 30-plus in that game. So it's not some weather excuse. You can't use that. Yes, it makes it tougher, but like, you can't excuse the play of him for the rain. Simple as that.
So now a simple question. Would Jared Goff start on any team in the NFL right now?
The Jets. After what Mike White did, he threw 4 picks.
He wouldn't start over Zach
Maybe
Wilson.
Houston.
I'd take Tyrod.
Tyrod threw like 3 interceptions last game he started.
Do we forget Jared Goff was just as bad? Would he genuinely start on any NFL team?
The Jets.
We named 2 of them. We said maybe the Jets, maybe the Texans.
Anyone else?
You start on the Jets.
Anyone else? No, because any other team that we named either has a rookie QB or potentially a rookie QB.
Would he start over Heineke?
No.
No.
He just beat the Bucs.
Heineke just beat the Buccaneers yesterday. And looked really well in the pocket, and he's a mobile quarterback.
Would he start over Jalen Hurts?
No.
No, Jalen Hurts looked really good yesterday against a solid Broncos defense.
It's the.
Would he start in Carolina?
No. It's the Texans and it's the whatchamacallits.
Would he start over Jacoby Brissett?
That's it. No.
He might start over Jacoby Brissett.
He's got to start over
It's
Jacoby
crazy.
Brissett.
Would he start over Jarvis Landry? Jarvis Landry.
Pass against the Browns.
Landry's like one of the best throwing receivers in the game.
Yeah, it's cool.
Would he start over McCaffrey at Wildcat or actual Jared Goff?
I think McCaffrey's starting at Wildcat.
That's what I'm saying.
If we had McCaffrey,
I've reached that
I'd
level.
start him at quarterback.
Yeah, I would just do Wildcat McCaffrey over Jared Goff throwing normal.
Yeah.
Well, going into this is going to be towards the end of this game with my big takeaway, but I'm willing to declare this on November 15th, 2021. If Jared Goff is rolled out as starting quarterback next season, week 1, I will not watch the team until it changes. So when we do these shows, I'm not sure what we're going to do.
Who's going to start?
Evan?
Hey, breaking news, Grant. He is going to start next week.
Evan, you can't do that.
Well, you can't trade him because no one wants it.
We can't trade him. Nobody's going to want him. 2, if we cut him, it's like $20 million cap hit.
Take it.
And we're stuck with him until like 2 years.
Honestly,
so this year, I think this year and next year. We cut him after next year, no cap hit.
I think I'd honestly cut him in the offseason and just take the hit and lose again for another year anyways.
I'm not taking a cap hit.
What's the difference?
Unless House the starting quarterback, then we can cut him and I don't care.
Well, yeah, we'll draft someone, at least in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, somewhere. We'll draft someone.
It has to be someone. I know the class, we'll get there when we get there. The class has been not great so far, but someone has to be drafted in one of those 2 picks by the Lions to be a quarterback.
We
Well,
just
got
got
to
to
first
take a
pick
chance.
overall. Or at least it shouldn't, because then you're missing out on one of the best defensive players. in the
No,
draft.
it's
And then you're
Thibodeau
pushing-
no matter what.
Well, with the stupid Texans, we might if the Lions win a football game, then I think they would become the first picks. We might even get the first pick. Anyways, whatever. We'll just take it one game at a time. But I'm telling you right now, if he starts week 1, every week he starts next year, I will not watch. I can't do it to myself. I know it's a disservice to the listeners because I will know what, but they won't want to hear it either. They'll be so fed up with this team. We'll just pray for good college football teams again and not even worry about the Lions until they be worth talking about.
After this tie with many chances to win, I've heard a lot of rumblings in the area. Is Dan Campbell on the hot seat?
No, but he sounds like a
Are you
big
kidding
idiot.
me?
That's what I've heard. Heard it all over the radio today.
No, but he just.
No.
I will say I did tune in for a little bit of 97.1, and the clip of him laughing in the post game, which I hadn't heard, did kind of irk me. It's like he did some weird chuckle about how like, oh yeah, we couldn't really throw the ball because of our quarterback being hurt, and that's just like the biggest like, dude, just put Blau in the game and stop futzing around
Well, isn't
with everything.
or Boyle? Isn't he back? Supposed to be
We
back?
have 3 weeks to activate him.
So not yet.
We have 2 more weeks to
But
activate him.
Blau's just sitting there like waiting, just dude, like what? Blau's probably thinking, like, what does Jared Goff have to do more bad for me to play?
Well,
True.
the thing is, the game was close, so I guess you couldn't really pull Jared when they were winning.
Yeah, but Blau could still hand the ball off 15 times, like what Jared did.
I mean, it's the classic, like, they're going to die on the ship because they traded for Jared Goff.
This is Campbell's
Let's
problem
start.
for him saying that Goff is his guy and won't.
Yep.
Like
At least he called him out.
the Lions trotted out there and ran a wing tee, essentially high school army offense.
It was good for my fantasy team. Swift touched the ball a million
And it's
times.
like, what? And then he says in
We
the
get what we've been asking for.
he says in
Yes.
the so there's a positive that they did feed Swift like we have been begging them to. I don't know why it was this week. What happened? Well, I do know
it's one of the better rush
it's
defenses.
Dan Campbell calling plays is what happened. But I'm glad that he got in there. I'll roll through my rest of my positives. One, yes, Mason Rudolph played, but the defense did what they were supposed to do against a quarterback like Mason Rudolph, and they had 3 turnovers, caused 2 massive fumbles, the old punch, and there was another play. And Julian Okwara, my guy, my top 25 guy, went out there, had a sweet pick. And his interception, his whole
Really terrible throw.
defensive campaign. Yeah, but nice hands for a defensive lineman.
Agreed.
The whole campaign of Julian Okwara being a positive for his defense continues, so that's good. Negatives, the play calling, like I said. But I don't mind being run heavy. It was just, they ran on 3rd and 9 plus like 5 times. And that's just like giving up. And their 3rd down calls when they did throw were usually short of the sticks. They ran like a 5-yard hitch on a 3rd and 9. Also, giving up. And then coaching and QB play, I said, cost the game, which we've already discussed at length. And then lastly, the special teams kicking was a joke. But that was one of the things that made the game funny. And like that kick by Santoso, dude,
So bad.
it doesn't help that he looks like he's just a goofy looking dude.
It's like the manager at Walmart.
A goofy looking dude. And that he like looked like he pulled a hammy on the kick. It was just everything.
No,
about
I think
that.
that's the classic. It was so bad, he just like faked that he was kind of hurt. Like if you miss a shot in basketball, you're like, oh, wrist. That was my wrist there. That's why I airballed. That was what he did when he missed the kick.
Question I have for you guys is, I know it was a tie, which is the Lions' best result of the season. Jared Goff has still not won a game without Sean McVay as his head coach. Anyways, I came away not feeling any better about this team winning a game this year. Do you guys feel the same way? Or did the tie give some life in you? Did the run game give some life?
I think we're going to win.
No, I wanted to lose this game. When I was cheering for him, I was cheering for the Steelers in overtime because I wanted him to lose this game. I don't want to give up the draft position.
I think the Lions are going to win again.
But Evan, do you think after this performance that you feel better about them winning a game or no?
No.
No, I don't feel any. I don't feel worse. I don't feel better
Indifferent.
Mm-hmm.
because I don't think you're going to be able to just line up and run heavy set nonstop versus other NFL teams.
Yeah.
I guess maybe only thing that can make you feel better is with the return of Decker. The line did look pretty solid, especially running the ball. Sewell looked pretty comfy at right tackle, so I guess that if we're looking at things. Another thing that's super head-scratching, and I know this because I was listening to a fantasy football podcast today, that Hawkinson just didn't do anything in this game. I mean,
1 target, 0 catches.
what are we doing? Dan Campbell calling plays. You have 2 of your best players. You use Swift, but then you just don't use Hawkinson at all, especially in a game where you throw short yardage throws to a tight end. That's what you use tight ends for in a sloppy game. You need a big bruiser like Hawkinson that can run through tackles. I don't know how you don't get him involved. I guess they tried to on the goal line. It was almost picked off on a tight end screen, but that was disgusting. I don't know. Do you guys have any closing thoughts on the Lions-Steelers debacle?
No, I think we talked about them too long. They stink.
I think that's fair. Topic 2 now. A recap from college football. Michigan at Penn State. Michigan went on the road and won 21-17. I'll do the opening statement for this game as the Michigan fan. I'd just like to say I had some clarity. We talked earlier on this show where I asked everyone, are we enjoying the seasons enough? Are we enjoying these unexpected seasons by Michigan State enough? And I would say I took the time after this win for Michigan to really enjoy it. I'm grateful for their win. In this 7-year tenure of Jim Harbaugh, with, we talked about last week, more devastating losses than big wins, this one felt good and I'm going to cherish it. And what made it even sweeter was as the college football day went on, you see Texas lose to Kansas. And, I saw a tweet online about the whole narrative that, Michigan gets often compared to the Nebraskas, Texases, Floridas, Florida States, Miami, Floridas of the world. And this win made me feel better as a Michigan fan about comfortably saying that in the last, 7 to 5 years, Michigan's a tier above those guys. Obviously, Michigan is not with the big boys, with the crazy media expectations that get thrown on them and Harbaugh's the savior. They're not the Georgias, the Ohio States, the Alabamas, the Clemsons. But I feel even the Notre Dame's still a step above because they make the playoff. But again, their conference is non-existent. And I think if they played in the Big Ten East, they'd do worse. But Michigan is still a respectable program in college football, and they're not in that tier of, doo-doo or like their next coaching hire, I would say. Like, it almost muddies the water. We'll get to it at the end of the season, but like a win like this makes me even a little bit more hesitant about the Harbaugh decision even more, because it's like if you make that change and you get a Mike Norvell or you get a coach like Manny Diaz, things could get gross again, and maybe you just want to keep riding this out until you have to make a decision.
I don't think there is an off-season decision.
No, this win sealed it.
He's back. I can't imagine he's not.
Well,
what are you going to do? Fire a guy that goes 10-2?
November, like Nebraska did with Bo Pelini. I was looking back at there. He was 9-4, 10-4, 9-4, 10-4. They fired him, and now look where they're at. So it definitely can get worse. But I guess we'll have to see how you feel, Alex, after November 27th.
I'm not saying
with Ohio State. Like if they get blown out, I can easily see the calling for heads happening again.
They might call for his job. I'm just telling you and telling all the Michigan fans he's going to be back.
Sure. I'm more talking about what I think, my personal thoughts. I don't know what's going to happen, obviously, but I'm just saying.
I do. He's coming back.
Okay.
Unless he can leave and goes to the NFL.
Ooh.
If a team wants him, which I'm going to put that at a pretty low probability right
now. Alex, I'd like to give you a chance to apologize for thinking Penn State would win.
I'm not apologizing. You also told everyone that Michigan would win easily and win by 10 points and never trail. That wasn't true either. So maybe you should apologize to the people because you were sweating out a win.
I predicted them to win by 10. I didn't think it'd be easy.
No, you told me they would lead start to finish. That might have been off the record.
That doesn't mean it's easy.
Did you lead start to finish?
No.
Were you sweating out the game when you went down 3 points? When Michigan went down 3 points with 5 minutes ago?
Yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking.
I will not apologize.
Okay.
They didn't deserve to be picked by me to win based on everything I've seen.
Thank God. I thought you were about to say didn't deserve to win.
No. They deserve to win because Evan's going to go on that tangent in a second.
Yeah, Evan, I want to hear from you.
Oh, you're thinking of Harbaugh and like keeping his job. You know who should be fired? It's James Franklin. I doing a service, I was tailgating, didn't get to watch that much of this game. So I went back and watched the highlights. James Franklin lost this game for Penn State. 100%. You watch the highlights, and it is dominated by a lot of Penn State highlights in the first, I watched like a 20-minute video.
Well, the quarter, they had 30 offensive plays, and Michigan had like 3.
The first quarter, right?
First quarter.
Yeah, Michigan did not have a first down in the first quarter, and you're only up 3-0.
Yeah. They said it was
that through somebody's head.
It was the
okay.
biggest discrepancy in plays in like NCAA like the year in like the last 40 years or something, where it's like one team had the ball the whole quarter and the other never had it.
They have 2 clock on.
It felt like it. Well, the first drive, if you guys want to go into that torture chamber, they picked up 3 third and longs, I think, and then there was a
fake punt.
Well, it was 4th and whatever, 6 or whatever. Michigan calls a timeout because they're seeing a fake look. Come back on the field, and Penn State still gets it. And it was like, dude, what? That's when I'm screaming for Harbaugh. I'm like, well, what did you guys just go talk about on the sideline? Like, hey, they might fake it, be ready, and then they faked it, and you weren't ready. And then Evan, the highlight I tweeted out, dude. Imagine being 4th and 2 on the 2. Now remember, it's Penn State, who must have plays from the 2-yard line. They haven't been so hot at this year. Shout out Illinois game. So maybe they thought a fake in special teams was their best chance. But imagine you're 4th and 2 and you don't just go for it normally. You try to fake it with your field goal kicker. I mean, what are you doing?
Puke.
It doesn't make 0 sense. 0 sense. Like, going into this game, you have to be looking at the stats and go, okay, both of our defenses average giving up less than 17 points. You need as many points when you get a chance for them. And I hate field goals. I do absolutely hate them. Michigan fans know field goals lose games.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going in, and you could be up 6-0. And the team that you're playing hasn't had a first down yet. You already ran one successful fake on special teams. Get that out of your way if you don't have to run another one the rest of the game. Because it's in the back of their mind for the rest of the game, like, oh, they already ran one. And then the play going for Penn State, and they're trying to pass the ball on 3rd and long situation when Clifford is clearly not the quarterback, and their offensive line can't block a lick. They had 3 sacks on the first drive. I hope Jay Strickland gets fired. And guess what? He is losing a lot of money currently because all these high-profile jobs. He is losing money right now. Because after this performance, he should not be hired by anybody.
Dude, if you go back and like do the deep dive and do his splits like at Penn State, they're bad. Like, I know the Harbaugh ones get thrown around all the time.
He is one player and one play from not having a job.
Saquon.
And we said this last podcast, is Saquon Barkley, if he never showed up on campus, and if they never blocked a field goal and returned it for a touchdown against Ohio State, he wouldn't have a job.
So when they lose to Michigan State, he gets fired on the field. Your prediction, you still feel good about that one?
Absolutely. He probably will not get fired, and he'll go somewhere else. And they'd be like, oh, this is like a better outcome. But Penn State really deep down should thank themselves that he finally is out of their program.
I think Penn State wants him out.
He's just not a Penn State guy.
Who is the Penn State guy?
Penn State coach is
not a good head coach.
Gritty.
He's a mismanager in situations.
He
And it proved it today. You sacked Cade McNamara. You just tied the game, and you had a strip sack inside the 20-yard line.
3 points.
And you can't get in the end zone.
Their offense is anemic.
They can't run, which feels like a big miss for, I don't know. I guess on the other side of the ball, as much as Franklin messed up, some Michigan players did really perform. Take this moment to appreciate the man that is Hassan Haskins with Blake Corum officially out. In the back of my mind, I thought, oh, is this going to be Donovan Edwards' breakout game like Andre Anthony had against Michigan State? It was not. I think Donovan Edwards got like 2 to 3 carries, and he was coming off an injury. He looked wobbly. He tripped on one play. It just fell down. So Hassan Haskins got 36 touches of the football in this game, 201 scrimmage yards, 5.6 yards per touch. And then you would have thought that would have came with a couple of touchdowns. It did not. The man who was responsible for 2 touchdowns was his kind of return from injury early in the year was Roman Wilson. 2 touchdowns for that kid, huge by him. And the first one, I mean, it was one of Dan Orlovsky on the call. You know, he loves that QB film. He was just going to town. That was an incredible throw by Cade, and just an overall understanding of like the play they're running, the way he looked to the left, looked away at the safety, and then quick snap back. Knew he was probably going to have Wilson there and put it on a dime to Wilson. So that was huge because, like you said, watching that game, it was dominated by Penn State possession-wise. I still, in my mind, as a Michigan fan, was watching it. I'm like, okay, well, Michigan had 3 sacks on the first drive, and they just don't have the ball. Like, Penn State's not going to pick up 3rd and 17s all game. So I felt good about Michigan being in the game. They just needed the ball, and it was a huge 15-play drive they answered to get that touchdown, and then they go half 7-3. And it feels like Penn State had the ball the whole game, but still the scoreboard matters. And then Eric All, huge game-winning touchdown, would end up being the game-winning touchdown, returning from a hurt ankle. He hadn't played the game before. That was huge. Just a great play call overall on a day where play calling was back and forth. That was a great one. And then really what Evan touched on is just briefly about the defense of Michigan is that the defense at the end of the day is won this game and has won game and game again. Evan, you want to hop in real quick?
Oh, and hey, game's on the line. 4th and 2. And I'm letting Sean Clifford throw the ball on a fade route.
Fade.
It's a great call.
But they did throw against Vincent Gray, which if you're going to throw against a cornerback, probably the one you want to
At
go
least give your wide receiver a chance.
Don't just throw it out of bounds. Is that what you're saying?
He's looking like golf out there.
They really should have done more, I thought, designed runs for Sean Clifford. If we want to go X's and O's, Sean Clifford was tearing up Josh Ross as the QB spy all day. I also think Josh Ross got concussed in the first quarter of this game. There were some plays looking back where he got hit hard and he did not know where he was on a couple plays, but then it seemed he bounced back fine. I trust the staff there, but I was like, I'm pretty sure number 12 is concussed. But the defense, 7 sacks on the day. Crazy number to throw out there. Hutchinson grabs 3. Ojaba has 2. They each forced a fumble. We know those two have been like that all year. They believe they came the first duo in Michigan history to each have double-digit sacks in a season. 10 and 10 for each. Insane. Top 5 in the country range for them. But maybe even more impressive was true freshman linebacker Junior Colson, who's been playing all year. Led the team with 12 tackles. I think he had 5 solos. That's huge from a kid because he gives you, we know with Josh Ross's liability, speed. Junior Colson flying around as a freshman, making 12 tackles is massive. And then DJ Turner, cornerback, to step up and have 2 pass breakups and played overall solid, in my opinion. With Jamon Green was out, didn't make the trip. So huge step up by him. And just overall, I would say this is a big program mentality win. Michigan, I look back, was 1-5 at Penn State in the last 6 meetings at Happy Valley. And as Michigan fans, we talked about last week with the devastating losses, or maybe the week before, the Michigan State week when I went through it. You've seen, as a Michigan fan, this story unfold of blowing a lead and making games where you should pull away close. When that strip sack happened of Cade and they get the ball back, it's oh, God. Here we go again. I think I saw a stat. Michigan went into the fourth quarter leading by 8 against Penn State, which is the same margin they were leading against Michigan State going in. Is this just going to be how this season unfolds, is that they blow leads on the road? They held on. Penn State, for what it matters, I'm not going to read too much into it because we talked about how college playoff rankings matter now, but Penn State was AP ranked. So when you see that stat of Harbaugh against AP teams on the road, that will get a tick in the win column next year when they throw that puppy around.
It's buttery soft that you had to bring that up.
Well, I'm just telling you it's going to, he's 2-9 against AP teams on the road.
Let me just tell you, super soft that you even felt the need to bring that up. No one cares.
They do, because that gets thrown around all the time.
All right, 3-9. Sweet.
Better. Program defined, program changing, program in the right direction.
It won't make a difference.
Winning big games on the road. And as corny as it sounds, we talked about enjoying the season. Are you enjoying it? It was good to see. It's just fun as a fan to see the post locker room videos when they're giving the credit to. I kind of felt weird they're giving credit to Gaddis, but the reason is because obviously he came from Penn State. It felt good probably to win against Penn State at Penn State, probably first time since he's been there. And then McDonald finally giving him love in the locker room. That was just a cool scene with all the players jumping around them. Harbaugh steps out of the way because he's been there for 7 years now, giving love to his new younger coordinator. So all around a good sight that just makes you feel good as a fan to want to root for this team. It's a team of just good dudes and coaches that are trying to make a name for themselves. So that felt good. And really the only negative I have from this game that I want to address, there are negatives, but this is one of those games where, like I said, I'm just cherishing it. I'm overlooking the negatives. We can get to them next week against Maryland, things that could hurt Michigan going into the Ohio State game. But the field in this game, just the overall playing surface was so atrocious. You just see grass kicking up all the time. And it kind of parlayed perfectly into my thoughts about Heinz Field. There's something in Pittsburgh. Maybe we have to ask Luke next time I see him. What's up with the field maintenance in this state? Heinz Field looked awful. And the Pitt Panthers had played on it like a couple days before, and they're talking about how they needed to resod it. Like, why are football fields in Pittsburgh like injury traps? This is like actual injury liability in these games where like no one has any footing, and I feel like someone in the state needs to figure it out. So that's just my rant about that. That was disgusting.
You said fields in Pittsburgh, it'd be fields in Pennsylvania.
Thank you, Pennsylvania fields. Any other thoughts from you guys on these games? This game?
No. I'm surprised Michigan, well, not surprised, I guess. Michigan.
It was good to see the Cade McNamara play the entire game, not to share reps.
Great point, Evan.
Smart.
No JJ. And Cade was feeling himself on Instagram. He posted the video of him shushing the crowd at the end of the game, and that just got me jazzed. Because you know what? I will say this. Penn State fans, Penn State's a lot like, I feel like Chelsea from high school. Like, they're not your main rival, but when you play them, you remember how much you hate them and, like, why you hate them. But I will give them credit. As we talked about the deep end and the Michigan State student section, the Penn State student section, noon or not, Penn State student section is unbelievable and it's unmatched. They are screaming their faces off, like dressed in all white body paint the whole game. It's insane.
They're crazy.
They are crazy people up there, and it felt great to beat them. Not that I had anything to do with it, but it felt great as a fan to win that game. And I thought we were going to get a post-game handshake fight from Harbaugh and Franklin. Franklin did not look Harbaugh in the eye, but that's probably for the best because those two would probably go at it. All right, Michigan State versus Maryland. Maybe a little briefer one here. Michigan State takes care of business. The final score was Michigan State 40, Maryland 21. Not a Big Ten football buffet. What stood out to you guys in this game? The bounce-back game from the Spartans versus Maryland.
Peyton Thorne looked surgical in the first half. I think at one point he started 14 for 17.
A couple of touchdowns.
It was like 2 touchdowns. I don't know how many yards it was. But he looked very efficient, especially when you needed him going into next week. So I was really pleased with his performance. Not that we really needed him, but just pleased with that performance. Our top 3 guys took care of business, and that's the reason why we dominated.
Yeah, talent gap was pretty clear in this game. Michigan State was significantly better. The game never felt close. I know that Maryland technically had some chances to get within 6, 7, but the game never felt like it was ever going to swing towards Maryland's way. I mean, it was 27-7 before you could blink. Other positives I haven't already talked about. I thought Thorne was really, really efficient. He's now the second most efficient quarterback in the Big Ten in terms of statistics, which is nice. Kenneth Walker had a pretty solid day.
He was 32 touches, 172 scrimmage yards, 5.4 per touch, 2 tutties.
It's weird that 172 yards isn't like exciting anymore for him. It's just, I think we're overlooking how great he is. I don't think every week we're doing that, but this game he didn't break an 80-yard touchdown run, so it didn't feel like he was incredible, but he was still very, very good. And it's going to suck when he's gone next year.
I think I figured out a new aspect of this game that I was looking on the highlights and I appreciate more and probably contributes to a large chunk of his success. I think the combination of his vision and almost just like feel for like awareness of people around him. There was one like outside zone to the left where he cleared the wide receiver blocking, and then there was a cornerback trailing him. And the cornerback was still like a yard or 2 away, but Kenneth's like sense of just where people are at on the field, he turns around. You could see him fully look back and protect the ball with his other hand because he thinks a strip is coming. And he like realizes the guy's still 2 yards away and then just puts the Jets back on and keeps going. And like the fact that he has that, and you see him on his long runs, he's always looking behind him, like covering the ball. Like his sense of like where people are around him is insane. I think that's a huge like factor in the cuts he's making. Just like, I don't know, his overall feel for the game is insane.
He's a ridiculous player.
The biggest play of the game, in my opinion, from watching was a Noah Harvey pick. Like Alex talked about, like, yes, agreed. Anyone that says like, oh, Maryland was like kind of hanging around, like they were because they do have a solid offense. They have like a boomer bust
quarterback.
Some
explosive plays.
They did have a chance there to make it in the 6 or 7 range, but especially because Noah Harvey gets the 15-yard PI. And then they're on the 15 going in, start of the third quarter, 27-14 at this point, and then he rebounds, credit to him, Terrible decision by Talia, but great pick by Noah Harvey. And that pretty much kind of felt like, okay, Maryland doesn't have the juice to ever tie this thing or take the lead is what it felt like at that point.
No. Yeah, I was going to mention that as well. The defense got back to being very efficient in the red zone. There are a couple plays. Mainly, I just want to talk about one thing. Ben Van Summer played 3 plays for Michigan State on Saturday. Maryland. What?
3 too many?
Maryland on those 3 plays went 3 plays for 65 yards and a touchdown.
I love that you found that or like know that.
And 2 out of 3 were solely his fault. So if Crouch is out this Saturday against Ohio State, Harvey's going to play the whole game. I don't see how Van Summer can be on the field. He's that bad. Not to bash anyone, but he's that bad. And you guys should go back and watch it. It's disgusting.
Can't wait. I actually will. I'm not going to waste my time on that guy. Evan, we talked about, you had a point in the Purdue game about the vanilla defense not changing anything up. Well, from what I saw, Michigan was bringing blitzes left.
The blitzes were coming out on Saturday.
I think, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the negative guy, but
do it.
I think a lot of it has to do with next week. Because if you just show the same vanilla defense, like next week it would pick you apart. You got to show blitzes, and plus Tualia doesn't protect the ball well, so I think it was the kind of situation. It's a lot easier to blitz inaccurate and worse quarterback because the chance of him actually completing is quite low. So I think that kind of had something to do with it. But it is actually good to see Ronald Williams, even though he has a hurt back, played really well. Had 4 targets. There was only 1 completion against him for 5 yards.
Nice.
So he's our number 1 corner. He played pretty well.
We should shout out Marquis Lowry. He's actually been playing pretty well when he plays. Hits hard.
I like that.
That's not my guy. That's Grant's.
That's Grant's guy.
That's our guy.
Also, just on your point about Talia, is that his name?
Talia Tagovailoa.
He's actually has the highest completion percentage in the Big Ten this year.
Yeah, it's great.
70%.
Alex,
he gave up 3 intentional groundings. How does a quarterback do that?
I'm just saying the stats are the stats. He is the highest completion percentage in the Big Ten.
Alex, incredible podcast.
What's that record get him? 5-5.
It led me right into a point I wanted to make that parlays off of one of Evan's favorite guys, Dan Orlovsky. He made a comment, and again, classic Dan Orlovsky loves defending quarterbacks and talking about quarterbacks. He made a comment in the Michigan game that made me think, because he said, when did the phrase game manager become a bad thing? And I was like, it's an interesting point. Like, I understand the game manager is boring and you don't love it.
He probably said that because he's one.
But as I thought about Cade, and then I watched Talia play, and I go, yeah. And I look at the stats in the Big Ten. I go, Talia is like one of the most stat-stuffing quarterbacks in the whole Big Ten. But I'd rather have Cade because I know Cade's not going to turn the ball over and get intentional groundings. And I had a newfound appreciation of gratitude for game-managing quarterbacks that have a little bit of arm talent, because it's like, you know what? Sometimes it's nice to know that they're just not going to put you in terrible situations. And that was my only thought on that, because you saw like Talia makes cool plays, but then he just like absolutely ruins games. Like he fumbled diving for a first down. I mean, it was just like a whole lot of bad.
He has a lot of talent. He's just sporadic.
Yes.
They need to run him more.
He's fast.
He's so fast.
He bursted on that.
He's a bigger quarterback, and Mike Losky has this thing where like I'm going to throw the ball 50 times, and like, hey, sorry. He's not the guy to do that. Like, if they just ran him like 10 times a game, it would fit him so much better.
I think he has a lot of potential to be pretty good.
Mm-hmm. He'll be a sweet transfer at one good school in a couple of years.
I mean, he's already transferred once.
It would be so sick in Lincoln Riley's
Didn't he go to Bama
years.
for 1 year?
Yes, he was at Bama for a year.
And then
that's pretty good.
Yeah, because you talk about how much they throw. There's only one man, I wrote him down. I just want to shout him out because he wore a hoodie. Shout out hoodie man, Raheem Jarrett, 10 for 105. That receiver for Maryland was sweet. Anytime you wear a hoodie and go Keenan Allen on us, you better perform, and that kid performed.
It is good.
But on the same token, you have to give love. Evan mentioned the big 3. We should at least say the man's name, Jayden Reed. Unbelievable performance by him. He had one grab, and I'm very strict on Alex knows Grant's catch rating. I said out loud, that's an 8.9. That one where he was running it was a back shoulder fade, and he spun, and floated down his fingertips
in
and he
his hands.
still held it. That's an 8.9 catch out of 10. That's unbelievable. And the joke about them playing high school football together, him and Thorne is so old, but you saw it today with like with Naylor out, like it's very clear, unless it's a flea flicker that even Montori Foster can get open, it's going to Jane Reed.
Well, Trey Mosley had a decent game. I think he had like 5 for 50.
We'll give love to Trey Mosley, but you know what I'm saying. Like Jane Reed's the guy. And
well, he was the highest graded Big Ten receiver this week.
By you or by
BFF?
we don't care about that.
Well, we do when it's in our favor.
Right.
Jaden Reed's a monster.
Crazy.
I hope he comes back.
Is he draft eligible?
Yes.
Oh, he's gone.
Mel Kiper has him rated as the number 1 returner. So I think he's coming back.
Fair. He has 2 touchdown returns. Anything else from the Maryland game? I'll defend you guys real quick before
Maverick Hansen threw a punch.
Bro, it was such a he was swinging and it was like at this moment he knew he messed up type deal where he stopped going for the helmet and then fouled through for the guy's forearm. It was hilarious to see in replay. He like knew he shouldn't be punching and just punched the guy's arm and he was like, "You're out." And then the ref's announcement was like, "Yes, he threw a punch." It was so funny. That was comical. I will say this in the trust stream. I don't blame you guys for leaving early. I just wanted to give you guys some crap because it was funny. Like, and I respect Mel. I like Mel. I like all the Michigan State people that run the accounts. He
backtracked a little today.
You know, as much as you should cherish a top 10 team, no one's staying for the whole game versus Maryland. That's just not. You just got to be happy that the fans are loud for the big games, and that's about it. No one's staying to watch all of Maryland in that weather. Sorry, that's life.
He did say today that the program is getting built, and that includes attendance and fans and all that. He wasn't mad. He's looking forward to the process continuing.
It's never going to get. He's at Alabama. He knows that Alabama, when they play games like this, they don't stay. You don't.
Yeah, no. I've seen Nick Saban complain about the students leaving early for a similar type of thing.
Take it as a compliment. Your
they're college kids that want to get hammered and go party and go to the bars, or they're too hammered and they need to go home and take a nap. And it's just kind of how it works. Not everyone's Penn State.
And I got bad news for you. Next week, it's probably going to be the same thing.
Yeah, no, the Penn State game.
Because Thanksgiving is the worst weekend unless you're playing with your top rival. So unless it's Michigan,
no kids are on campus.
Yeah, that's
no.
You guys.
And I propose you should move college football up one week.
Yeah.
And reward those student athletes for having Thanksgiving off. Besides the 2 teams that play in the college football, not the college, but like the conference championship.
Why not just move the conference championship back and you get 2 weeks to prep?
Just move the season up 1 week.
Yeah, and the conference championship stays the same as it is right now. Then you have 2 weeks in between the last game.
Like Thanksgiving weekend is just off. Besides, 2 teams have to practice that week.
Yeah,
they can still have Thanksgiving off.
Yeah, you make a lot of great points. The attendance is going to be bad.
And then you sit there and you wonder why attendance isn't high. Oh, I wonder why, because when it's 35 degrees and raining on Thanksgiving weekend, I will probably spend more time with my family watching a buffet of college football and eating leftovers until I get sick.
Mm-hmm.
But Michigan and Ohio State do it every year, and
sucks. I'd much rather not have.
They are a top 5 rivalry in college sports.
Oh, that feels good.
People are going to show up no matter what.
Right. That's like the only exception.
I would prefer.
We're lucky to get Penn State because other years we get either Rutgers or Maryland.
Dude, you should see the attendance for those games, Grant. 400 people.
Hey, I went to the Penn State game my freshman or sophomore year when you guys were in the playoff. That was packed.
To win the East.
To win the East.
If we beat Ohio State and then if we play Penn State to win the East, it's going to be a full stadium.
Yeah.
But forewarning, unlikely.
Well, okay, with that, let's get into our playoff rankings. I'll go first here. It's going to be a quick week for me. Not much change because nothing really happened outside of Oklahoma losing. 1 Georgia, 2 Alabama, 3 Oregon, 4 Ohio State, 5 Cincinnati, 6 Notre Dame, 7 Michigan State, 8 Michigan, 9 Oklahoma State, and 10 Ole Miss. So Ole Miss cracks the top 10 after beating Texas A&M. Basically everything's the same, so everyone moves up 1, starting with Cincinnati.
Mine is different. Georgia 1, Bama 2, Oregon 3, Ohio State 4, Michigan State 5, Cincinnati 6, Michigan 7, Notre Dame 8, Oklahoma State 9, and Ole Miss 10.
What's the reason for jumping Cincinnati?
I was with a Cincinnati fan all weekend or all Saturday, and I'm sick of it. I don't. They suck.
But better than Michigan still.
I'd like to actually correct my rankings. Michigan State 5, Michigan 6, Cincinnati 7.
I like it.
Yeah, Cincinnati wouldn't beat any of the teams above them, so let's move on.
Evan.
Feels bad.
Evan's got
Okay,
two.
so I got to change my top 10 up a lot because
they lost.
I think
Oklahoma was 2.
Little pushback.
A little.
People want
Just
your
a little
balls. Castrated
That's
balls.
okay. That's okay. So my top 10, number 1, Georgia. 2, Alabama. 3, Cincinnati. 4, Ohio State. 5, Oregon. 6 is Oklahoma State. 7 is Michigan. 8 is Notre Dame.
Oh,
9 is Ole Miss.
you're doing it again.
10 is Michigan State. Hey, we cracked the top 10 this week.
That feels good for the program.
No, people are going to lose it again.
Yeah, top 10 matchup this week, just in case. I didn't want to get left out outside of top 10 because then it's not a big matchup.
Right. Smart.
Yep. So
Mine's
on
a top 5
ESPN,
matchup.
jabbing in them a little bit, put them in the top 2.
For the viewership. That makes sense.
Yep.
Yep. We have a lovely little intermission here before we get to the college football previews to break up all the sports. We had 2 completely different fan questions in here. I'll start with the non-sports one to really get us off the rails here. It's a good old would you rather, which everyone loves. And the question simply is, guys, would you rather be locked in a cage with a tiger?
How long?
Until there's a result.
What? So you have to fight the tiger.
Yeah, I'd say so. Let's say you're in a UFC ring. No, let's just say it's go to a UFC heavyweight bout. 5 minutes total. 5 minutes total in a UFC cage with a tiger. Or lick peanut butter off a hobo's foot. Who would like to start?
I'll start.
Evan?
Actually, no, I'm not starting.
I'll go.
Okay, go ahead.
So, number 1, I absolutely hate feet. Just hate it.
Oh, true.
A lot.
True.
So, the point where just, seeing feet grosses me out.
I've seen you suck toes before.
No.
Confirmed, I have seen you do that.
That's getting cut.
Asterisk to this conversation.
You and Rex Ryan, that one time in Miami.
So feet are a big no for me.
Yes.
And now that you're saying 5 minutes with a tiger, I'm just gonna try to get in that cage and just not provoke the tiger and hope it's just cool with me sitting there for 5 minutes. If I die, I die. At least I didn't lick peanut butter off a hobo's foot.
Joke's on you. I got that tiger riled up. I was its corner man, and I dangled meat in front of his face.
So I'm just gonna try to just be super quiet in that cage.
I lathered you up in beef spray, so it's going for you. I'll hop in for mine. I only had one thought to try to justify the tiger. In Alex told me, I believe, or I read it. I heard a story. You also told me. Alex read Matthew McConaughey's book called Green Lights. Not a sponsor.
Good book.
And he told a story of doing heavy drugs in Mexico once and going into a cage with a lion, I believe. And he said on drugs, his frequency. This is the most Matthew McConaughey story now that I say it out loud. His frequency on the drugs allowed it to relate to the tiger or lion, and the lion was more curious about him, and he went into the cage and sat with the lion for several hours, and the lion just kind of laid next to him.
Yep. That's me with this.
So unless you can do that, you have to lick the foot. It's as simple as it can be. You lick the foot because you're gonna die. You will die in the cage with the tiger.
No, Grant, you told me that you can beat a bear one-on-ones.
No, first of all, I've never said a bear.
What was the animal?
Panther.
If you can win one-on-one with a panther, then you can win one-on-one with a tiger.
No, tigers are bigger jungle cats.
No,
Everyone
you can do
knows
your
that.
same technique. It would work.
And panther was in the middle of the daylight because at night I'm toast because that's where they thrive.
All right, so you're licking peanut butter off a hobo's foot. Enjoy the herpes.
No, absolutely, I am. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's creamy.
And
if we're gonna do it.
I'm right with Grant. I'm right with Grant.
Dude.
Peanut butter is a top 5 food, and
Dude, you know the
No
fungus
comment
on
after
that guy's feet?
No other comment after that.
Warts,
What if
fungus.
he's like a river hobo and just got out of the creek? Like it could not be terrible.
He probably
He's a
doesn't
brand
have
new hobo and just lost his house.
Yes.
He probably doesn't have shoes, dude. His feet are just calloused, warty, fungus,
So are mine.
black, like dirt shoe. Disgusting feet.
You don't
You're gonna
think
put that.
You don't think a hobo?
You guys
can
are gonna
find
have foot to
Crocs?
mouth. You're gonna have foot to mouth.
What does that mean?
You remember that in like 3rd grade? Kids would get foot to mouth.
No.
It's like, what? You don't remember that?
No. Sounds like a sex position.
Oh, foot and mouth disease. You talking about that?
Foot and mouth? Foot to mouth? Foot and mouth disease. Yes. A mild contagious viral infection common in young children that causes sores in your mouth and rash on your hands and feet.
Where do you get it from? Just touching
From feet in
you
your
touch
mouth.
your foot and then you touch your mouth?
Hand, foot, and mouth disease.
I bet it's curable. Guess what? Being killed by a tiger's not. You're dead.
It is very contagious.
Facts.
Yeah, but I'm going to be zen with the tiger. We're going to be like hanging out, chill, and then probably
Now-
my pet at the end.
If we're being honest, when Michigan loses by 30 to Ohio State, I might opt in with the tiger. Might just get it over with.
All right, question 2.
Question 2. Now this is a juicy one. Would you rather? Because this is kind of it'll hit.
Wait before you guys answer this question.
Yes.
Who is a better team? Or what team would you rather be? Ohio State? Or would you rather be LSU?
This year,
Sure.
Ohio State this year.
No, you have to say in the last 5 years.
No. Would you rather be Ohio State or LSU right now?
Ohio State.
Ohio State.
Okay.
This
Now
is a
you can
trick
ask the question.
Oh. Well, no. Okay. See,
Now you can ask the question.
Evan just put me in a pretzel now. Now my brain's fried. Because now this is.
Did you ask the question yet?
Ask the question. I will give you a bunch of reasons why you're picking with me.
Okay.
I know what I'm picking.
The question
And
is.
I won't be swayed.
No, you're not.
But you have to think of it
You
as.
don't even know what I'm picking.
For Michigan State.
I know what
Michigan.
you're picking.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Would you rather win a championship this year in football, either Michigan or Michigan State, and go under 500 for the next 10 years, or be a top 5 team for the next 5 years but never win a championship?
National championship? Because you
Yes.
are definitely winning the Big Ten if you're
National. Because the first championship is national, so the second one has to be national.
Okay. National. Evan, you go first.
Okay,
Wait, what? You
I'm
said
gonna give you
you'd
my
rather
reason.
win.
I have an answer.
Oh.
I'm going to give you my reason, and you guys can give your reasons, and I'm going to give you a bunch of reasons why you're sticking to my side.
Evan,
I'm picking top 5
that's what I was
for the
picking.
next 5 years.
I was going to pick that. And you thought I was going to pick
Okay.
the other one.
Yes,
Grant's going to pick the
consistency
other
is
one.
key in programs, in running programs. Consistency is key.
No. Grant's the guy you're going to have to convince.
It's the national championship, and it's not even close.
He's going championship.
It's
We've
not
had this conversation.
even close. What's the point?
Okay, I'll give you 3 examples. Now, one team that I'm going to name. Actually, no, I have 4 examples. Actually,
Do it.
okay, one team didn't win the national championship, but they made there. Oregon.
Doesn't count. They have to win it. First order of evidence thrown
fine.
out.
Okay, fine. Auburn. Gene Chizik. What happened to him after that?
Fired.
But that one championship.
Fired 3 years later.
Okay.
Florida State. What happened to him?
They're
He's
horrendous.
at A&M now.
And he cheated scandal. He got out there before stuff hit the fan. LSU. What is currently happening to LSU's
Dumpster
program?
Their
fire.
coach likes to have sex. He got lost in the sauce.
Rumored. Consistency is key, and winning a national championship doesn't mask everything because now you're holding to a higher standard. And I would rather be Ohio State every single year and then be one of these programs that has to rebuild right away.
Okay.
Being in the top 5 is fun.
But-
And year in and year out, it is
You're
fun.
always going to be in a chance to win a national championship. You just don't know that you're going to lose every time.
No, you are. In this thing, you are. Never win. You never win.
Yeah, you will have
Evan,
a miserable
wait.
10 years.
Evan, Ohio State.
Look at Texas.
Miserable.
Ohio State is easy to say because they won with Zeke. Like, they won. If they hadn't won, a lot of Ohio State fans would be a little upset. They'd be like, when are we ever going to do it?
Do you know how miserable it is?
Do you know how? Well, we don't know how sweet it is to win a championship. I have to imagine it'd be one of the better days of our lives. And
what about Oklahoma? I think it would be fun to be an Oklahoma fan.
Yeah, I agree.
No, they don't. They're always kind of that like they're like
Heisman Trophy
they're
winners,
sweet, but they're also like
Look how many times they made it to the Big 12 championship.
They're like the joke of the playoff. Like, oh, Oklahoma's just gonna get blown out again. Like they're always like they're like the joke of the top tier.
Hand up.
I don't want to be that.
I've been blown out in the playoff. It's not as bad as people think.
Winning the Big Ten 5 years in a row would be sweet. Going to Indy with my friends and winning the Big Ten championship would be cool.
It's the championship, dude.
Going to the Rose Bowl, if we're not in the playoff, maybe winning a Rose Bowl, that'd be cool.
Because the 10 years only takes you to 34. You guys can make fun of me 8 years later, but your team sucks again. It's like, yeah, well, that one year in 2021 was awesome. I'm still.
Dude, you're gonna have no reason to watch your team for 10 effing years in a row.
That's okay. I'll hold on to that championship.
That would be miserable.
I can go 10 years without it. Probably be healthy. Just look at the championship.
When we went to the playoff and then went 3-9 and 7-5 and 7-5 and 7-5, it was miserable.
You didn't win the title though. Maybe you'd feel differently.
Well, Grant is going to be that fan that's going to get an exact replica of the national championship trophy and just put it in his living room and just stare at it nonstop. Every Saturday, he's going to stare at it and be like, you know what? Look at that. It's not that bad.
Not that far, but. Well, you can best believe every loss they have in these next 10 years, I'm just going to go to YouTube and watch the national championship game full game and just like relive it.
You have nothing to root for the whole season, every season for 10 football. Years.
For college football.
You won't even be a college football fan by year 11.
No, I'll enjoy the sport. It's just my team stinks, but that's the price I had to pay to get one.
We talk about this all the time with our pro team.
These two teams in college may never win in our lifetime. I'd love to guaranteed lock that in and just take it. Just give me it. I want it all. I want the full off season of an FU tour, of middle fingers to all the haters. I want it.
Yeah, your FU tour is going to get hilarious after 5 years when you're like the doormat of the Big Ten. But you're like the worst team in the whole conference.
But then it's
Rutgers is still in the Big Ten.
But then it rolls off my back.
You're under 500, Evan, and not making a bowl game for 10 years. You are like the worst team in the Big Ten.
All I need is one. That's all I want. I'm not even asking for much. I'm asking for misery for the majority. I just want one.
Well, you can enjoy that shitty 10 years of your life.
I will.
It will be awful.
I don't care.
You'll hate it.
It's fine. It's super fine.
Oh my god.
And now, it's a good answer because it's my answer. It's from my heart. Now,
it's more
for a game this week. Let's do the baby one first. Michigan at Maryland. Did you see yours?
That's what I'm looking at.
Oh, Michigan at Maryland, minus 14.5 right now. Over under 56.5. 3:30. The Big Ten Network. Woohoo! I don't really plan on watching this game. To be dead honest, I saw what I needed to see from Maryland.
What are you gonna do?
I don't know.
You're gonna watch the game. Why would you lie to me?
Might be in East Lansing next weekend. Might be drunk. Might be celebrating a big Michigan State win on campus with the folks. I don't really.
Not these folks.
I might watch this game. I'll tune in on my phone. I don't care to watch this game. That's my honest thoughts. I kind of need a week off and just prepare myself mentally for Ohio State week. So I'll say this. I have no keys to the game. Get everyone as healthy as you possibly can. I have a simple question. How many intentional groundings will Talia have in this game if he had 3 against Michigan State?
2.
5.
High 5.
5.
I could see Michigan they had 7 against Penn State. Michigan might have 9 sacks. They might push for double-digit team sacks. Based on what I saw from him scrambling in the pocket, I don't know how Talia is going to survive this game.
You don't think he maybe just tuck him after watching on film, him throwing it to no one and getting 3 penalties last week?
Maybe intentionals would be less, but there's going to be a lot of sacks in this game from what I saw from the line. And this is one good thing for Michigan. It's a good test, I would say, of a team that wants to air it out because you have to be ready for that type of offense against Ohio State. And Penn State is not that. Penn State is like opposite of what Ohio State can be. They're just like they're one-dimensional passing, but they're bad at passing. So this is at least a good test of a competent quarterback in the Big Ten, I would say, in some place to get ready for Ohio State. That's all. I mean, they're not going to be able to stop the run. Fire Harbaugh if they lose this game. So that's about that.
Yeah, I have nothing to say about it. It's a snooze.
Any Sky reports you guys picked up? I mean, you watched them play last week. I don't.
Maryland throws the ball pretty well. Maybe they'll try to attack Michigan's corners. They're not going to be able to win the game. So it is not worth watching. You know? Unless Maryland comes out and learns how to run the football and learns how to play defense.
That'd be huge for them.
Yeah. I think not Penn State. Sorry, Jace Rankin's bad coach. He's wrapped up in my head right now. Maryland is like 0-9, being 0-10 now versus ranked opponents against the spread. Add another team to it, they're going to lose again. It's going to be a bloodbath. As long as Michigan shows up and ready to play, they're not looking forward to Ohio State. They do have to travel to Maryland. Kind of annoying.
That is super annoying.
There will be no fans there. I'm expecting more Michigan fans to be there than Maryland fans. Probably be a bloodbath. I would say a lot like the Michigan State game. Maryland probably scores some garbage touchdown against the backups. Must-win game, though, because if you lose this game, your entire season's just over with. It doesn't even matter.
Fire everyone upon loss. Michigan wins 42-14.
I see this game going 42. That feels good. I'll go a little bit less because I always feel like I get too happy with their points. They're not crazy offense. I would go 38-10. 38-10 feels good. Did I take it, Evan?
Come on, Grant.
That's unbelievable.
Come on. Fine, I'll go 35. 35-12.
Oh.
Wow, scoregami.
I'll go even crazier. I think there's going to be an offensive touchdown, defensive touchdown, special teams touchdown by Michigan in this game. It just feels like one of those Big Ten weeks. So,
is Traburo playing for him?
No, but we might borrow Jade Reed to return putts.
All right.
Holy cow!
All right. Michigan State plays Ohio State.
Speaking of playoff implications, you want to
Game of the year.
Do you want to read that spread, or do you want me to read that?
Michigan State is currently, according to Grant, according to FanDuel, not a free ad.
Ooh, FanDuel's a little bit higher than
and a half point underdog at Ohio State, noon on ABC. The over-under for this game is 67.5 points. Evan, who are the announcers?
It's a Big 12 bonanza shootout.
The announcers will be Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler.
Yep, the big boys.
That's the first time you guys have had them this year.
Yes, we have not played any ESPN night games.
That feels good.
But I guess this is a noon game.
No, but it feels good to have the big boys.
Game of the week, game of the year so far. In terms of implications. It's got to be. I don't know what else would be.
I mean, Georgia Clemson, but that stunk.
Yeah, no, that was the first game of the season. That doesn't count.
Well, now you're looking at it Michigan State Michigan game had more implications.
No, Evan, this is for the East, basically.
I mean, next weekend's going to be for the East, too.
Right. This is for the East if Michigan State wins. And then if they don't, next week is for the East again for Ohio State. Ohio State has two difficult...
Well, don't overlook Penn State like that. But anyways...
Well, we saw them in their coaching ability, and it's at home.
They're still a good team. No, they're an average team. I'm sorry. I said they're average. What is up with this line? What's the deal here? Let's just start there. When I saw this, my jaw hit the floor. Why is this 18.5? This is the same spread as Purdue basically was. And like I said, Maryland is... favored. Michigan's favored by less against Maryland than Ohio State is against the number going to be 7-6 team in the country.
Nebraska had a better line.
This is crazy.
Nebraska.
This is crazy. What's going on?
Vegas is looking at the defensive stats for Michigan State, and they think that Ohio State's going to put up 67.5 points.
Alex, you want some stats to back up that could be a shootout?
Yeah, I would love them.
Yeah.
But let's just say Mel Tucker said today that the word shootout makes him want to vomit.
He was talking about NHL hockey, and he encourages the more 3-on-3 pace of play. Yep.
Mel said he also does not know what trap games are leading into Purdue.
Oh, chop.
He didn't say that.
Keep chopping.
He didn't say there wouldn't be a shootout. He said if it gets to that point, we can do that.
Well,
he just doesn't.
Kind of messed up because promoting gun violence.
Going back to Grant's question, 19-point spread. I think you're looking at it. Ohio State is covered in almost every single game besides the Oregon and Penn State game. Nebraska, but that was on the road. Asterisk there. They play well at home.
Sort of. They did lose a game.
Well at home. They did lose a game at home, okay? But Ohio State has been a better team since they lost to Oregon. They're one of the top teams in the country. Year in and year out, and it's not going to change.
You just fart.
Ohio State knows what's on the line. Ryan Day knows what's on the line. 19-point spread, maybe a little bit high, but I'm not shocked.
It's crazy this isn't within 2 touchdowns.
It's not shocking.
It is. It's
I would take Michigan State to cover.
You what?
I would take Michigan State to cover.
Yeah. It's shocking. It's disrespectful and it's shocking.
It is disrespectful, and you know.
And let me just.
Okay, Alex, you're ready for my stats buffet. Go ahead, Rick.
No, you go. We have 2 stats buffet. We got. I think I'm the Golden Corral to your Vegas buffet. I don't know. I have some.
Oh.
Some.
Okay, here we go. Total defense ranking. This is on NCAAcollegefootball.com.
Good website.
NCAA stats football. Completely just rankings. MSU versus Michigan State. Total defense. Michigan State's 111th. Ohio State's 55th.
Wait, out of 130.
Yeah.
Out of 130 teams. 111, breaking news, not very good.
Oh, that's really bad. Sheesh.
Third down offensive stats. Ohio State is 3rd in the country on offensive efficiency on third down. Michigan State is 77th.
I'm getting off the field.
Now we start changing the tides. Okay? Now we're more of a balanced team. Third down defense. Michigan State's actually 86th. And Ohio State's 94th.
Okay.
Oh, we're better.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Penalty yards per game. It matters in big game. Penalties matter in big game.
Agreed. Needs to get cleaned up.
Ohio State's 98th. However, Michigan State is 119th.
Is that for the good or the bad?
That is the bad. That means we're averaging over 70 points.
Those damn punt formations.
We're a highly penalized team. We knew
that Rutgers game is going to hurt us. Now here's a stat that might blow your mind.
Now here's a guy.
I'm saying it. I already clicked onto like the third page of the 130 teams. Couldn't find us. I say what is wrong. So team passing defense efficiency.
130.
Ohio State is 54th. Michigan State is 56th.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Now I don't know what they do for the defensive pass efficiency, but we're 56th. We're only right behind Ohio State.
I do know that Michigan State faces the most passes in the country by a long shot, too. So that means we're highly efficient with all this.
You've seen a lot.
Offensive passing efficiency. Okay, Ohio State is 3rd again. Okay, their top 5 offense. However, Michigan State is 15th in the country.
Pretty good.
These teams are comparable in some aspects, and there's only one difference, and it's the passing defense for Michigan State. There's inflated stats there. We're getting into the keys of the game, but I started looking up the stats. I started seeing a lot more stats today, and they're not too far off.
I got to be careful with this segment because anyone that listens will be like, oh, Grant's just discrediting Ohio State like a silly Michigan fan. Doesn't he learn from the last 14 or so years it's been? I understand Ohio State's good. I understand they've looked better than both of these schools. I'm still going to plant my flag and say they're not the elite Ohio State teams that we've seen in the past. And if I get embarrassed, then whatever. But I can go to my grave knowing that Justin Fields is a better quarterback than C.J. Stroud, especially in college. So I'm going to hang my head on that. And we have an Ohio State source. The defense is not all-time defense for them. They do have an amazing running back. I want to dispel because I'm the lazy view is just to look at the Purdue games and be like, oh, Ohio State just did that to Purdue. I mean, aren't they going to do that to Michigan State? Michigan State lost to Purdue. Well, no. Listen, Purdue started with the ball. They had a 16-yard punt. I kid you not, it was one of the worst punts I've ever seen. It did not get blocked. He kicked it into the air. Ohio State started with the ball on Purdue's 35-yard line going in to start the game. Okay? And they scored because they're not stupid. Okay? Then Purdue marches down the field and scores. So 7-7. Answer, there's life. We have a game in Columbus. Guess what Purdue does? They fumble the handoff exchange. Ohio State falls on it. They score the next play on a 50-yard run or something like that. Okay? And then they stop them. So then it gets 28-7. So yes, it did get bad. But then get this. 28-7. Can Purdue answer? No, they fumbled the kickoff return at the 10, and Ohio State jumped on it. And then the doors are blown off. It's 35-7.
That is not the Purdue team Michigan State played.
Purdue just peed down their legs at the horseshoe and did not play any sort of discipline in football, I mean, they moved it down the field 7-7, and they fumble an exchange, and they fumble a kickoff return. Would Ohio State have won the game? Yes. But, don't look at that score and be like, it just got away fast. And that's what will happen. And so I have overall 4 keys to the game, but they kind of all work together. First of all is running the football. That's going to be the biggest key by far in this game. Now, Ohio State stat buffet, you're ready for it. When it comes to running the football. Similar to what I told you about Maryland. So, Ohio State. You see the scores, you're like, okay, their run defense has been solid. But guess what? Against 4 teams, it wasn't so solid. And those 4 teams were Oregon ran for 269 yards on Ohio State. Minnesota ran for 203 yards against Ohio State, again, early in the season. Nebraska still ran for 113, and Rutgers ran for 111. Now, 111 and 113 aren't crazy, but you're telling me that Kenneth Walker can't figure it out for, I don't know, maybe 150 yards around his average? That will keep Michigan State in this football game. Everyone else Ohio State's played, they've kept under 100, but those teams can't run the ball. You're talking about Penn State, who stinks at running. You're talking about Maryland. You're talking about Indiana. Those teams can't run the football. Tulsa, Akron, they're not cracking 100 on Ohio State. Against 4 teams that like to run the football, they gave up over 100. So there's hope. Now this, their closest game of the year that they won, Penn State, who we know is not a great team, not even a good team. They're an average team. They forced 3 turnovers versus Penn State. So you think, hey, Michigan State, if you can protect the ball, they only won by 9 against Penn State, and Penn State had chances to win. Don't turn over the ball. You have a chance to win. Now, also, here's some hope. This might be the most hope for you guys in the passing defense. Ohio State threw for 484 yards against Oregon and still lost the game. They threw for 405 yards against Nebraska and only won by 9. The key to stopping and keeping in the game with Ohio State is your rush defense, okay? Ohio State had 164 rushing yards, 128, and 90 rushing yards in their 3 closest games this year. So in my mind, if Michigan State's defense can keep Ohio State under around 150 yards rushing, they'll have a chance in this game. Because even if they throw to death, Michigan State still had chances against Purdue, and they gave up a bunch of passing yards. If you can stop the run game, you have a chance. And if you can run the ball, you have a chance. Shrink the game. And like I wrote down here, no turnovers early. Especially early is the key. If you make a turnover late trying to come back, that'll be the nail in the coffin. But you can't turn it over early, because if they jump on you like they did against Purdue, it kisses it goodbye. You're not going to win a track meet coming back, most likely, because they're not going to piss down their leg like Michigan did at the woodshed. Okay? And then this is the last key. This might be a little sweaty. I always think in big games like this, you have to win what I like to call the halftime exchange, where if Michigan State's driving with 3 minutes left in the half and they get the ball to start the half, they need to milk it in a way where they score and Ohio State can't go back and score. That way you get that possession, then you get the ball, and then you have a chance to score again, and then you get a lead. And then if you get a 7-10 point lead, you have a chance to ride this game out and shrink the game and be in it at the end. That's my key to analysis. Go run through a brick wall, guys.
I felt pretty good after you said all that. Not gonna lie. One thing I want to say, saw a lot, and Aiden O'Connell shredded Michigan State, right?
Right.
He went 40 of 52 for almost 400 yards and 4 touchdowns against Ohio State. So is Ohio State's pass defense that good either? I'm not sure.
No. Quick answer, no.
Keys to the game for me would be similar to what Grant says. You got to run the ball with the best player in the country. Milk clock, limit possessions for Ohio State. They're usually, when Ohio State scores, it's pretty fast. And so another key would be when Ohio State gets into the red zone, Michigan State needs to play like it has all season, other than the Purdue game where they force field goals. Ohio State scores touchdowns at an alarmingly high rate in the red zone. So it's going to be tough, but if the defense can really buckle down in the red zone, force some field goals, I think that really, really would contribute to some success for Michigan State. And then lastly, key is Peyton Thorne and efficiency, and cannot turn the ball over. You just have to protect the ball. I think you're going to have open receivers throughout the game. I think Jaden Reed could really have a big game. And as long as Thorne is on his game, play similar to the Maryland game, I do think this game could be pretty close. And I don't think that, just looking at the line, I don't think Vegas is that accurate. It could end up that way, obviously, but starting fast for Michigan State is probably the most important thing, because when Ohio State gets up early, you're, like Grant said, you're not coming back in a track meet down a bunch to Ohio State. So starting fast is extremely crucial. 7-0. Because Michigan State seems to start with the ball every game. They need to score on the first drive. Jay Johnson, I'm talking to you. Nice script. We need a nice script. Maybe a throwback screen. Maybe we've been saving the playbook, and we're going to just throw everything from the kitchen sink out on Saturday. And I'm all for it.
You don't have to. Just
Dan Campbell versus the Rams type of stuff. Let's get crazy. Grant doesn't think we have to, though.
Don't.
I don't know.
I mean, your guys' talking points, I'm not going to say much more about that because I think the keys to the game are saying exactly what you guys said. Some more points or more stats to throw it down your face. Just to, like, add insult to injury if you really want it. I was going to say one of these, but I don't think they're accurate. Ohio State's offense is top 3 in the country in points per game, yards per game, points per play, yards per carry, yards per pass, and, like I've said, third down conversion. Top 3 in the country.
Yeah, they're blink your eyes and they score. They're highly efficient and quick.
And I get that. And I hear you guys.
The level of competition is important.
But I think I texted in the group is like, you look at Ohio State and you think it's going to be an automatic 40 points. Against Penn State, 33, Oregon, 28, and Nebraska, 26. So in my mind, 3 of the better defenses they face. Again, we talked about how Michigan State is not going to be in that tier. But they're a quality team, and if they have guys step up, like you guys said, if Crouch comes back and is a big factor in this game and can make some plays, then the biggest thing will be like just not letting Ohio State have those like chunk touchdowns. Can you make them go on drives to shrink this game? It's all about shrinking the game. That might be a loser mentality. Like, why can't we go up head to head with them? I don't think they can. I don't think like it would work out. Especially, I don't know about the health of Naylor. Like, he'd be huge to get back for this game. So I just don't see Michigan State winning like a 45-42 game. I could see them winning like a 38-35 type game. I know it's not the biggest difference, but it is in my mind. Like, try to shrink it as much as you can, and I don't think I would not be shocked at all if Michigan State won. I'll say that. I don't know if that makes anyone feel better. I would not be stunned. I'd be like, yep, that's Ohio State's been gettable, and they got again.
I would not be surprised either. But I'm always that guy.
Pass defense is the difference. Because you look at points per game, we're averaging 34.5. They're averaging 46.5. Points allowed, we're averaging 22. They're averaging 20. Total yards, 450 to 550. Yards passing, 250 to 350. Rushing yards are the exact same, 197. And then it's just yards allowed. We're averaging, giving up 114 on the ground. They're giving up 107. Well, we're giving up 329 through the air while they're only giving up 261. Most of these are comparable. Total yards is 443 to 370. So pretty comparable.
Want to feel good?
It's literally going to come. It's going to come down to execution. I'm not saying they're not comparable. But a couple of years ago, the Michigan State team was going into Columbus and had a chance to play better and execute if they just would have executed, and they could not. I think this team is more capable of execution.
The Brian Murphy squad
front runner right now. I think it does help that we are playing at noon.
Yes, good point. It does.
I'm not a time guy. I don't think it matters.
It 100% does.
It 100% does, because when you get a Columbus crowd to prepare a full day and then they come out in a blackout.
A blackout at night is a little scary.
Michigan loses this week. Last week, if Penn State was at night, 100%. Noon saved that game.
I agree.
It's just
so
night crowds
I think
are
it does
different.
matter. It's a little bit at noon. You got to get up. It's so hard.
Sean Clifford threw for 361 against this defense.
Clifford is
Sean Clifford is bad.
Yep.
Peyton Thorne might shred this defense, Evan.
I just don't know if Jay Johnson will be able to execute if he allows him to do it.
Honestly, Evan, Jay Johnson
can this team execute enough?
And
there's multiple times when we have not been able to execute enough.
We've executed enough 9 out of 10 times.
Now, I think Ohio State will win.
This is one of those games, though, right before we get into predictions. Like, I think we're going to know after, like, 2 possessions of each team if this is going to be a game at all. You'll just be able to tell with your eyes.
I would say after a quarter. Give me a quarter.
A quarter?
If Ohio State goes up 14-0, the game's over. I'm comfortable
halftime.
Halftime? I think I'll know. I might know on the first drive if the line's pushing and Kenneth can move, it's going to be a game. If not, then it's not.
I'll know within 2 drives, 1 from each team. I think it'll be that.
Just 1.
One drive from each
One
team will be
drive
enough
for
for me
each
to
team.
tell.
There's no way you know after one drive, Alex.
If Ohio State scores in 5 seconds and Michigan State goes 3 and out, the game is over. And it won't be close. Tell me I'm wrong.
It'll feel that way. It'll be like, oh, this is different. Vegas was
Michigan
right.
didn't get a first down until the second quarter, and they won.
Yeah, Penn State, though.
This is not Penn State.
Penn State, James Franklin, head coach.
Weird things happen in the horseshoe. So must-win meters and predictions for the game. I'll go first since I'm the Michigan fan. You guys might jump down my throat. People are
We're
going to
going to
jump.
say must win.
You guys are going to jump down my throat. I'm calling this a must-win for Michigan State. As crazy it might sound,
Yeah.
I know people might be expecting to lose or 50-50,
That's me.
but like I've said since the beginning of the season, when Ohio State is not like elite, that's when you have to beat them. And this is one of the better teams Michigan State's had in my lifetime. You have to beat them. Right?
You think that? This is one of the best teams Michigan State's had in your lifetime?
So, yeah, I would say for sure
It's 4th.
top
Maybe 5th.
top 3, 4.
Might be 5th.
The Rose Bowl team, the playoff team, and this one.
No, the team in between the playoff and the Rose Bowl was
The
lost.
Cotton Bowl team?
That team lost 2 games, and those 2 teams were in the national
Oh.
championship.
I don't know, dude. This team's unbelievable. They have one of the best running backs I've ever seen. So
Defense is Swiss Chad.
okay, but this is modern football. You don't have to have like the best defense ever to win games.
Can't have the worst, though.
No, you can have 111th.
Oh, there it is.
So must win, and do I hedge my emotions?
Do your overreaction Monday take.
Did I say win?
You said win by 9.
Who would win by 9?
Michigan State wins by 9 points. That's your overreaction.
What
Monday
drugs,
take.
Grant?
I don't think I
You went
texted
drugs this
9.
morning. I don't think you
That's
said
what I
that.
thought I read this morning.
Let me check.
No,
That seems
I don't
absurd.
think so.
9? So specific.
Feels like that's what you said.
Wow, we texted a lot today. Oh, yeah. MSU wins by 9. Well, that's not happening. I don't know what I thought when I woke up this morning. Just trying to get the group chat off to a hot start. I
Wow, I
think,
didn't even see that this morning at 8:21.
let's just say Ohio State wins 42-35.
That would feel bad.
And it's tight. Michigan State had a chance to drive.
I mean, would you rather get blown out or
Pick
lose, like
pick-
late?
Picked by Thorne on the game-ending drive.
I have said this before. I'd rather get blown out than get my heart ripped out.
Whew. Let's hear the prediction, Evan. I'm going to do something crazy.
I'm expecting to lose. So
Wow.
loser mentality.
The end demographic.
Evan, you are the negative guy.
That's going to be me for Ohio State. I changed this year, though, so I can't wait to join you.
I'm picking
Expecting
Michigan
to
next week.
lose. My score prediction
I have.
is gut reaction.
55-17, Evan. That's what you told me all weekend.
Dang. You want me to stick with it?
Well, don't lie to the people.
I can't lie to the people because, we gave up 55 points last year and we were horrendous last year. So I shouldn't say that. They don't have Justin Fields. Josh Allen is probably, he's not as good, but
You're not
No,
even
he's
close
not.
to as good, Evan.
Nowhere near.
he's pretty darn good.
He doesn't run the
He
ball.
doesn't make big throws. He just hits open
I don't
receivers.
give a care.
I don't give a care.
The receivers are who you should praise.
Odell
Final
Beckham.
score is going to be 39 to 37, Ohio State.
Odell first play.
Wow, that's
No,
tight.
39-27. 39-27. I apologize.
Oh, okay. 39-27 Ohio State. Expecting to
Yep.
lose. Alex?
Expecting to lose.
Last year, when Peyton Thorne came in the game after Rocky probably threw 2 picks right away, he moved the ball well. Jaden Reed got open in space a few times. And that Ohio State team is really good. And this Michigan State team is 500,000 times better than last year's team. The disadvantage is that you're playing in Columbus. I guess advantage, the time. You guys said the time matters.
It does.
So my must-win meter is, can I say I think the game is 50-50, but it's a must-win?
No. That's not how the graphic works.
Can you put me in the middle of the 50-50 and must-win?
Sure.
Okay. That's where I'd like to be. And then I don't know. I felt some weird thing about Michigan State winning in 2017 or whatever it was when they went, or 2018, when they went at Ohio State, blackout at night. It looked good for the first quarter. Then they lost by 30. So I'm torn here. I don't want to make that mistake again. So I think Ohio State wins 33-31 on a game-winning field goal. Michigan State's leading by 1, and then Ohio State kicks a game-winning field goal to win by 2 points. And our hearts are ripped out. Michigan gets the Rose Bowl, and we don't. And it's going to be a sad, dark day and this dark evening in the woods when we're hunting.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's going to be a super depressing drive back Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon.
So, just so it's spoken into existence, because I like to hear it. You guys both think that Michigan will be playing for the Big Ten East on Thanksgiving weekend.
No, Maryland's going to beat them.
Wrong. Michigan will be playing for the Big Ten East on Thanksgiving weekend.
That feels really good to hear. And honestly, like I said, I'm cool with you guys, Michigan State being Ohio State, as long as you guys promise to lose to Penn State.
I would never promise it.
And then if Michigan could pull something out, that'd be one of the better days. It'd be like a Premier League end of the.
Grant's 2 weeks away from getting his prediction right. He did say they would go 10-2.
Who?
Grant did.
Michigan?
I did have 10 wins the regular season for Michigan, and
Grant said they would go 10-2.
I think I said 9 for both.
Sometimes people just can't understand what they can't see. And sometimes people are dumb like me and get lucky. That's what happened.
I mean, last year Grant predicted like undefeated, so let's.
Well, there's no record of that. We didn't have a show back then. I don't think I did. Okay, before we end this puppy out, they would have led the show, but no one probably really cares about Butler that much. But Butler plays Michigan State this week, and this is Michigan playing.
Gavitt games tip off.
With Michigan playing Maryland, this is the biggest game of my week. This is my Super Bowl for the year. Are you guys nervous for this? Are you nervous for the torture chamber I'm about to put you guys in leading up to this? If somehow Butler wins, oh my goodness.
To be completely honest, I might miss the first half of the game.
Your loss.
So if that shows my concern level, it's pretty low.
I am not nervous for this game.
I'm not nervous at all.
So you guys fully expect a Michigan State dub?
Yes.
Yes. And if we do lose, I'm going to spin zone it so fast and so hard that it's not going to affect my life that much.
Spin zone.
I mean, I will sweat this
No
game
one
out
wins at
100%
Hinkle.
and be screaming at my TV the entire game.
Not
But
gonna be close.
it's still football season.
The disrespect, I thought you guys would be polite about it. I'm telling you this. I would have done it anyways. Butler wins this game, you guys will hear about it every single day or so. Every week, at least, for the next year. Every week.
It's fine. If we lose, spin zone onto Ohio State. You know, that's where our focus is. That's where Tom Izzo's focus probably is too.
No,
he's a football guy.
No, he needs this. Both programs need this. You need these non-conferences for that resume bid.
No, we're making the
and
tournament.
we are going to be on the resume bubble. We do need this win.
No, we're not going to be on the bubble. We're not a bubble team. We're not an 11 seed.
You don't know that yet.
We lose to Kansas and the sky is falling, Evan? Come on.
You don't know that.
No, Alex, I'm just going off of the talent that's on our roster right now.
Can we give A.J. Hogard a shout-out?
No.
Nope.
If they beat Butler, I'll say it's something nice if he plays well. But if not, then I'm going to dump on him and the whole team.
Well, he's been playing pretty good.
Butler's coming up.
Western Michigan is a bottom 5 in the MAC.
Let's talk about A.J. Hogard against Kansas.
I just need everyone to tune in. Butler, Michigan State, and live along with us. It's going to be
Still lost.
riveting.
What's your problem with A.J. Hogard?
He's not that good.
Is it his hair?
He doesn't think.
No, he's just not that good.
No, he's pretty good.
Call me when he starts then.
You guys, folks, you can follow. You guys can follow
Trying to think
along.
of someone who didn't start.
At Shot
I guess who had 27 points.
Draymond Green, sixth man. Tell me he's not good.
Jair Bolden, good 3-point shooter. Butler, 6-man.
No one cares.
Foster Water had 27
Dude, the
points.
disrespect. I swear.
Thomas Kithier also had a giant double-double. Good for him. And I saw Jane Kithier, his mother, getting all over Twitter saying that it's nice that the coaches and his teammates pass him the ball more.
Ooh, shots across the
Shout out Luke, who
bow.
hates her. I now see why you do.
You can follow us at ShoutOutOnMS on all social platforms, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook.
TikTok.
How to listen, Apple Pods, Spotify, YouTube. Rate and review on all platforms. Interact with us however you'd like. Ask questions. Get in the mix on our rankings, graphics, whatever you'd like. You know, we do our best to respond.
Tell Evan his rankings suck if you
Make
want
it
to.
interactive for everyone. With all that being
I'm a black belt, just so anybody knows.
with all that being
Not true.
said, cheers to close out episode 46. And cheers to the Butler Bulldogs, shocking the world, shocking this podcast on Wednesday night.
Let me just tell you, if Butler wins on Wednesday, the world won't be watching. Michigan State's not ranked.
It's a premier game.
That game will go right under the table. No one will notice.
Not on my social media.
Spin zone. We're on to Ohio State.
Cheers.
I don't know.
Happy birthday, Mackenzie.
Oh,
Cheers.
lovely
Mackenzie's
cheers.
birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday.
That is why I will miss the first half.